Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new League of Legends video. So today we're going to be going over a new champion roadmap post. Now this one's going to be a little bit different than the other ones. It's not a text one. In fact, it's actually a video that they made. So we'll be watching it together. I'll give you guys my thoughts. I'll give you guys some information you may have maybe missed in this roadmap. And we'll go over a couple of other things as well. So if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. But this is going to be exciting news because there's a lot of really cool stuff coming out. So let's just not waste any more time and let's watch it. Let's go.
Hi,
so we'll watch it
everyone.
once
I'm
together
Ryan
first.
Reeve Morales, the lead producer of Champions Team. And with Silas the Unshackled just hitting live servers, a champion that finally delivers on the long-requested ability to
Champion's busted, by the way.
use other champions' abilities, we thought it would be a great time to talk about.
By the way, Ryan released Silas with his W still healing a disgusting amount.
19.
So that's a mistake on their end.
Let's start with League's twin angels, Kayle and Morgana. I talked a little bit about Kayle a few months ago. As I mentioned before, this will be a full VGU.
Wait, if
we
we
build her art,
that's
audio,
Galio.
gameplay from the ground up to truly deliver on the Holy Angel fantasy that Kayle embodies. While all her abilities will be altered or changed in some way, we do want Kayle to still have the same overall feel as live Kayle. For one, we will be keeping her an auto attack focused champion and building her kit around a core auto attack pattern. We also want to enhance the feeling of starting as a melee range champion and then ascending over the course of the game into a ranged hyper carry. We also want to preserve Kayle's supportive side, so expect to see some form of a healing and invulnerability on the kit, even if they work differently than current Kayle. Expect to see Kayle in full light soon, but every light casts a shadow, which brings me to my next topic.
Morgana.
In the last roadmap, I mentioned that we weren't sure if we were going to do any gameplay changes at all to Morgana. That being said, we still wanted to take this opportunity to explore if there were any small changes we could make to Morgana's kit to make it feel fresh. The goal of the changes will be to make it easier and more rewarding for Morgana to make plays with her ultimate in the late game, as currently it can feel like using her ult in the late game can be very risky and oftentimes just leads to her own death. Morgana is a champion loved by many players, and we wanted to give her new visuals, VO, animations to really make the Fallen Angel theme.
So if you pause there, you can actually see Morgana. Like, I mean, obviously, but
animations to
Morgana
is a champion to make steps out of. It's time to talk about stuff that hasn't been announced yet.
Okay, so this is the interesting part. I'll go back to this after, though.
On a whimsical new support champion. It's been a long time since we have released a more traditional Enchanter support, the last release being Nami. And given this, we thought it would be a perfect opportunity to make a new Enchanter, one whose personality and theme will be a complete 180 from our last support, Pyke. While the new champion will be more traditional support, it won't be completely by the book, so as always, expect some new mechanics to get attached to as well. So
you obviously said a few things in there that a little bit, you know. We'll get to it though. We'll get to it.
Way more metal. That's right. If you haven't guessed it, I'm happy to finally announce that we'll be officially giving Mordekaiser a full VG.
Finally, jeez.
This means we'll be completely building him from the ground up with new visuals, new kit, new VO, the fully armored package.
Mordekaiser needs so much help.
Mordekaiser is a champion that has been highly requested by players for a full VGU for a long time. And in all honesty, he needs a lot of work. So expect him to have a heavily updated gameplay kit.
He needs to be completely different.
That being said, we do want to preserve the core identity as an AP juggernaut. We will be primarily targeting him as a solo laner, as after much discussion, we felt like the core fantasy of a brutal, armored warlord of death felt like it matched that of a solo laner, doing things by himself rather than a champion working with a partner in a duo lane. I mean, at the end of the day, Mordekaiser would rather send everyone he meets to his underworld kingdom rather than, you know, give them a shield. Stay tuned later this year for the next roadmap where we'll go further into detail on Mordekaiser.
Yeah, I think that's about it for this one. Okay, so
talk more about some new
let's get back to what exactly is happening here, right? So, okay, so starting things off.
We're in very early stages.
Oh yeah, there's a new assassin by the way coming out.
Can't say anything more on that yet since we are.
I wonder if that's the one champion I played because I actually did play one champion when I visited Riot, and I wonder if that's the champion that he's referring to. I don't know if it is or isn't. Anyways, so starting off here, right? So we have some, you know, kind of artwork happening, right, with more. I mean, it looks like Galio. I'll be completely honest with you, but this might be Kayle's because he said Kayle kind of like upgrades or something like that, right? She becomes like she goes from like a melee to just becomes a range or something like that. So this might be like the upgraded version of Kayle or something like that. But it honestly looks exactly like Galio. This literally looks like a wing, and I don't know. Anyway, but then again, Kayle has wings too. So never mind. Right, so that's not really the interesting part. They didn't really give us too much information, honestly, about Kayle and Morgana here. There's other than the fact that they're actually apparently doing something with Morgana's arm. They didn't say that before, so that is new. Before, they only said that they might do something with Morgana's W or Q. Now they're going to say that they're doing something with her R, potentially also with her W or Q, right? So that's pretty interesting to say the least. Now, the interesting parts about the next part of the video is here. Check it out. So if you turn on closed captions, right? Check it out.
Support champion. It's been a long time since we have released a more Trinami, and given the enter, one whose personality and theme will be complete 180 from our last support, Pike. While the new champion will be more traditional support, it won't be completely by the book. So as always, perfect opportunity would be a perfect opportunity.
If you pause it here, do you notice anything odd? He says a perfect opportunity, yet it's spelled very oddly. Now, Riot actually makes these closed captions themselves. They purposely, put in this text. It's not like auto-generated, right? So they purposely put it in as perfect, like a cat, like purr, right? So that makes you start wondering, oh, okay, well, that's obviously intentional. So what does that really mean? Well, this champion is going to be maybe like a cat or something like that. Maybe it'll be like a yordle that looks like a cat or something like that, or literally a cat. Maybe the champion will revolve around having a cat that attacks or something like that. Maybe some weird, wizard mage thingy that attacks with her cat, some weird cat lady. That could be a thing as well. Now, obviously, as we move on, he talks about a few other things that gives us a little bit of hints as to what the champion might do.
Our last support, Pike. While the new champion will be more traditional support, it won't be completely by the book. So as always, expect some new mechanics to get attached to.
Here we go. So he said it won't be. Look at this little smile as he says it. He knows he's giving hints, man. This guy's little. Okay, so it won't be completely by the book, right? So I don't know if that's a real hint for anything like that. I'm not 100% sure about that one. I mean, obviously, you have this whole book teaser thing you hear, but I'm not really sure if that's a hint. Now, as we move on to the next part, he does say, expect some new mechanics. Obviously, every new champion nowadays has some kind of new mechanic. That's just League of Legends, right? They're always trying to make something new, which is good. To get attached to as well. Now, he says attached in a very kind of... He overpronounces the word, right? So watch.
New mechanics to get attached to as well.
Right? I mean, come on. That was like, come on, right? Anyway, so what does that really mean? Well, attached to, that instantly makes you think of something like a Karma W, or, something like a tether, if you will, right? That like links people. So it could be something to do with linking, actually. Now that I think about it, that's actually not a bad idea. It could be a champion that literally links
that's out of the way,
either with an ally or an enemy, maybe. That could be pretty cool. And then if you link with an ally, you share damage. If you link with an enemy, they take extra damage. A lot of games have that kind of mechanic and that kind of character. So that could be interesting as well. So I'm just kind of throwing the stuff out here. I have nothing. I don't know anything about the support champion. I have absolutely zero idea. Now, moving on from that though, we have obviously the MORDE KAYLE rework coming out as well. Now this is going to be interesting because MORDE KAYLE is a champion that needs a lot of help. He is just absolute dog. The champion doesn't make sense, and he is getting a rework finally, so that's officially confirmed. So obviously, and I'm sure a lot of people also are very excited for that. So that's essentially that. Now, talking about the MORDE KAYLE rework, let me go ahead and go here quickly. And let's zoom in on this really quickly. So the MORDE KAYLE rework, who is going to be working on the MORDE KAYLE rework? That's a big question. So apparently someone called Xenogenic is going to be helping with it. He's the designer who started the exploration of the kit, and he also made Nunu and Xin Zhao reworks. Endless Pillows will be also helping out on the design of this VGU, and he was the designer of Xayah, Pike, and partly Rakan. I mean, Pike was fantastic. Then we have Fox Chisel, will be the narrative writer of this VGU. He was a writer of Xayah, Pike, Ivern, Ornn, Kindred, Ezreal, Nico, Echo, and Aurelion, to name a few. Obviously, some pretty good work there. And then we have Bravo Ray, who will be the concept artist for them, and he was the concept artist for Jhin, ooh, gorgeous, Kalista, Zac, Swain, Kai'Sa, Akali, I'm assuming Akali rework, Urgot rework, I'm assuming, and Warwick, I'm assuming rework as well. So obviously a lot of really good people, and a lot of, it sounds like a really solid team working on the MORDE KAYLE rework. But one more thing I wanted to mention that's a little bit unrelated to this kind of video is going to be Akali. Now, this is interesting stuff. So Riot just released this post literally like 30 minutes ago, talking about some, changes that they're thinking of doing to live League of Legends, more or less, right? So they talk about Akali, which I actually want to bring up because this is quite interesting to me. So Akali, getting the immediate question out of the way first. Yep, we'll be removing Akali's shroud, making her invisible under towers. So that is going to be gone. That is no longer a thing. Akali's W shroud is going to be... That sounds a little loud. Let me reduce that just a tad. So that is going to be removed, and she will no longer be invisible under towers. That's going to be completely gone out of her kit. And I don't know. Honestly, I kind of think it's a good idea to do this. Now, assuming that they obviously take the power that's now gone from her W and put it elsewhere. I think that's fine, because at the moment, it feels like her kit's really focused around tower diving, which I guess is fine. But at the end of the day, it's like... if you don't tower dive them, and if you don't make use of that, you lose a lot of power in your kit. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know if I like that really much. Like, so I'm actually kind of glad that they're removing that and they're changing it to this. So moving on, what else did they say? How, you know, they would prefer that. Akali mains would prefer that as well, blah, blah, blah. The original intent with the Shroud working on the towers was to give Akali similar dive capabilities to other assassins, despite her long kill times, while also adding some additional uniqueness, right? Which obviously makes sense, which is kind of what it did. In terms of other changes, we're also looking at Akali sustain. So they actually are thinking of reducing Akali sustain in the laning phase because they're thinking it's a little bit too much and she can get away with a little bit too much harass with the amount of healing that her Q offers, right? So that's something else that they're obviously looking out for. So yeah, I mean, the TLDR is they're going to be removing, most likely, like 99% sure, they're going to be removing Akali's W under tower. So you will, I'm assuming, see her or something like that now. But they will change that power. They will swap that power elsewhere in her kit. So they won't just straight up nerf her with that. They will obviously compensate for that change. So yeah, that's about it for this video, guys. There you have it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about these changes over here. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about the Akali changes. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, if you're excited or any of that stuff, hit that like button, share with your friends, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys for the next video. Thank you for watching. Peace.